Hi guys, how y'all doing? Got a little bit of glare on my glasses, so hopefully you can see me okay. Sorry I hadn't been around. My grandbaby decided she wanted my shop because it had more room. She moved me out here to her little bedroom. So I'm in it and she's out there. So it took me a little bit to get everything adjusted, moving everything with the rain and stuff. But we got it all set up, and I'm pretty close to done. I haven't got it all set up, but getting there. What I want to talk to you today, we were talking about the 20 pre-incarnate appearances of Christ and what that means to us. Now, we went through the God walking in the garden. Now we're going to talk about Abraham and the Lord appearing to him. Now, I got my little cheat sheet here because I want to make sure I tell you right. In Genesis 12:1, now the Lord had said unto Abraham, get thee out. Now, what did he tell him to get out? Get out of his country, get out of his surrounded from his family. Just move on out and do what I tell you to do, and I'm going to bless you. Well, Abraham, he didn't exactly do exactly how God wanted. He took his father and he took Lot. He took his father to Haran. His father died in Haran, and then he went on into the promised land, into Canaan, but he took Lot. Well, it ended up causing a problem because they went on down to Egypt. And after they went to Egypt, they come back out and they got rich. I won't tell you all the story about that. It'll take too long, but they got rich. And then they had so much cattle and stuff, they had to divide. And Abraham told him, whichever way you go, Lot, I'll go the opposite way. Well, Lot seen this green valley down there, seen all the good pasture and the water and stuff in the cities. And he went down that way. He took the best. Abraham said, I'll go wherever else. So he did. Well, Abraham stayed with God, and God talked to him then, because God was waiting for Abraham to do what Abraham was called to do, was a step aside, to separate himself from his family, from his homeland, and it took him that long to do it. Now, later on through the story, Sodom and Gomorrah's gotten really bad. They were pretty bad when Lot moved down there. But see, Lot, he thought, like most Christians think, that, well, I'll go down there and I'll change them. My glory, my honor will change them. Well, what ended up happening? He just ended up being the judge in the gate, and they changed him. Changed his family, changed his wife. He was in between a rock and a hard place and didn't know it. He had money, he had all the things that he thought he was gonna needed, but he wasn't the same man anymore because he didn't have that steadying presence of Abraham. See, that's what Lot guided on. He leaned on Abraham, and Abraham leaned on God. Instead of Lot forming his own relationship with God, he trusted him through. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't a righteous man. I'm just saying that he was guided more by Abraham than guided by God. So God meets him again. It says in 15:1, after these words came to Abraham in a vision, saying, fear not, Abraham, I'm thy shield and thy exceeding reward. But he also comes to him and he has dinner with him. Has two angels with him, and he tells Abraham exactly what's going to happen down there on the plain. And Abraham tries to make a deal with him, and he gets down to 10, and God says, well, okay, I won't do it for 10, because he didn't go down to 1, because he wasn't sure if Lot was still saved. So he's hoping he was saved as far as they're saved by that thing. He was following God. He hadn't fell completely into the corruption. He was hoping that at least somebody else was down there, so if Lot wasn't, he wouldn't get destroyed. So Abraham's had several appearances of God to him, and he's seen him, he spoke with him, he's fed him, he's bargained with him. And man, I used to read that thing and say, boy, why couldn't I see God? Boy, things would be different if I could see him like that and do like that. But Peter says something. He says, we have a more sure word of prophecy. Man, Peter seen him on the transfiguration. Peter seen him after he rose from the dead. Peter seen him heal blind people and the sick and raise the dead. But he says, we have a more sure word of prophecy. And that more sure word of prophecy is your King James Bible if you're an English-speaking person. We not only know what God was going to do in Sodom and Gomorrah, we know the whole story that he wants us to know. So we know the time past. We see what's going on back there. If we take our time and do our history, we can piece it all together. We can figure out what's going on right now. In the but now. Because we got a word right there to see it. And we can pray and we can study that word and ask God to reveal it, and he'll show us everything. Matter of fact, Paul prays that we'd have that knowledge. And then we can see what goes on after we leave. All the way up into eternity. They had pieces. We have it all. We're not behind in one thing. Thank God today that you have your Bible, that you have the King James Bible, that you can take it out and you can study it and you can read it and you can understand it. Thank God we have all the technology that we do, that things would take years to understand and figure out. We can do it just like that. Just pose a question. We are blessed beyond measure. We are in a generation that has more knowledge surrounding us than any other time. If you don't know God, it's because you choose not to. Man, we can see the picture. Christ died for us, died our death, was buried in our grave, and rose again so we can have newness of life. And all we have to do is believe. The only do we can do without working. So people, especially you men, that is one thing that we're missing today as men. I don't understand why. I'm not a psychologist. I think them guys are idiots anyway. But we need guys to stand up. We need men. Men like Abraham, men like Peter, that were willing to stumble, that were willing to fall, but they never lost sight on God. We need them to fill our churches up. They always spend their time playing, which there's nothing wrong with time to play. I understand when the crappie's running, you got to catch the crappie. I understand when it's deer season, you got to fill your larders. But the rest of the time, you need to be in God's house, learning about God, studying his word, and growing. So you can lead your families, lead your children. We lost that somewhere. And it's time we get it back. We got a whole generation coming up. Most of them don't even know their dads, or they know them as separated, living in another house. We need to fix that. And the only way we can fix that is get into the word. Be men. David told Solomon when he took over, he said, quit you like man. Get up there and be a man. Do it. So it's time to do it. Guys, have a wonderful day. I'll be back next Wednesday. I didn't do it yesterday because I didn't get a chance to film yesterday, but I got it in today. But next Wednesday, I'll do another one, or Thursday. Well, she's working now. I'll start doing them on Thursday. But y'all have a blessed day, and I will see you next time with the next Preincarnate appearance of Christ. God bless.